Oh, can I be bothered? Engine. I do have a new one, which is over there. But first, I'm going to take the front end of this van off so I can gain access to the engine and be able to remove it. So 4 nuts hold this slam panel on the front end of the van. I've released the bonnet mechanism, so that's all loose. I've released the wiring to the headlights, so that just plugs on each headlight. And all this can now just pop straight off. So I get this bonnet mechanism out. There you go. And that's the front end done. All released. So I've undone the screws for the lower part of the wheel arch. That's 1, 2. Now there's another 2 to take off. 1 on the inner wheel arch here, same on the other side. It's just a case of 2 screws. In fact, I'm not even going to take that trim off. It doesn't need to come off because I can still gain access to them front bumper mounting bolts, or nuts should I say. And there's 2 down here, 2 down here, and the same on this side, which is mirrored. So that's 8 bolts. This bumper will come off. So this can now be removed. So it's in a safe place. And next, start to drain off the coolant, which I want to recycle. There you go. This can be used again. Quite fairly expensive stuff, so I'm not going to waste it. So that's the antifreeze all drained off. It's been put in a safe place away from the dog, away for a spunky in case he wants to drink it. It's all underneath lock and key. So next part is going to be the intercooler. Let's remove that. Let's remove that. I'm going to remove some the fan cowling hoses. And that should just lift out the way. Even though I've got a bolt that snaps on this side, I'm going to bend it out. That's well, it snaps in there. That's it. And this will need cleaning off. It's got full of crap in there, so I'm not going to put this back on until it's all cleaned out. So the radiator in front of mine, I've got an air condenser. And there's a hose just here that must be taken out, 10mm headed bolts. I just took the pipe out of the way. There's another one, another hose that goes on top here. I just took that out of the way up there. So that's 2 air conditioning hoses that I've had to remove, and the plug for that air conditioning hose there. Now you can remove the whole lot with the intercooler in situ, but because I need to clean out my intercooler, I've removed the intercooler first. That's the main reason. Now it's just a case of undoing 2 bolts either side of the mounting point of the radiator itself. They've been removed, and now I can just lift that out and pull it forwards. But before I do that, there's a hose down here which I need to disconnect. That's the bottom radiator hose. There's a top one there, a small one, and the top radiator hose there. So that's everything disconnected from that radiator. Of course, there's another hose up top here that has these mounting brackets on top, so they're going to need to be undone. Let's bring that hose, another coolant hose, which actually goes on the top of the radiator. So I took all them out of the way. Now it's just going to be a case of wheeling all this out and that's it. It's out. I am back in the same position I was 14 months ago. Oh, God damn you, van. Right, get the tank off. 4 bolts on into position and 3 hoses in situ as well. Yeah, 3 hoses. So that's off. Rocker cover off. Now have I got something to grab hold of for the engine hoist? Yep, got a position there and one further back. Yeah, that's right, so that's okay. Next stage, to release all the electrics off the engine. But first, I want more hoses off this engine, so I want that top hose off. Right down there. Inlet hose off, throw that down there. More coolant hoses off. Throw them down there. Now I can get to the electrics. So before we start ticking around with any electrics, disconnect the battery. There you go. It's going to spark now. Wiring loom wise, I'm going to call it the diesel injection wiring loom and the charging circuit. Now on the charging circuit you've got some wires going to the alternator, one going to the oil pressure switch by the looks of it, the other one going to the clutch switch for the fan. On this side you've got one, looks like a water temperature gauge one. Then you've got if you've got air conditioning, the conditioning clutch wire. Then you go to the back, there's another, could be an oil pressure switch yet again on the cylinder block, which is just right above the starter motor. Really awkward to get to. And the rest go to the starter motor. So that's all been disconnected. Put them out of the way. Now we can concentrate onto the diesel injection side. So the fuel injection side, I've removed all the plugs from the injectors. There's one there on the crank positioning sensor, one further back on the fuel pressure switch sensor. It's undone. Now all the glow plug plugs are undone. A bit further down, the crankshaft positioning sensor, that's undone. I'm just going to undo this hose that goes to the heater matrix, so both heater matrix hoses are undone. Now I should be able to pull this wiring loom clear from the engine, like so. There you go. So there's no more wires, or there shouldn't be, connected to that engine. Yep, it looks pretty free. So I've got a couple of more hoses to take off yet. The servo vacuum hose, I'll just take the vacuum out first. That's it, and that's going to come off. I should do, pretty easy. I remember this one before, it was tight. Yeah, it's going to be tight, so that's that one. There's another diesel fuel line hose here, which comes from the fuel filter, so that one's been taken off, which goes on the underside of the pump. Just got to tackle that one. I think there's something wrong with it, if I remember. There's diesel going everywhere now. That needs to be higher than the fuel pump. I don't want to be bending this hose. Remember, I struggled like. That's it. Oh, it's falling apart now. I can fix that. So that's the vacuum hose off. Just took that out of the way. And I think that is everything disconnected to the engine. And obviously I'm going to have to take off a few more bits, like the turbo, inlet hose, and the exhaust manifold needs undoing. Then I can get around the back and start doing the bell housing between the engine and the gearbox. Right, do I take the engine out with the gearbox or leave the gearbox inside the van and just draw out the engine? There's only one of me. Now I'm thinking taking the gearbox and the engine out together is going to be far more easier. Have a look underneath. But first thing first, let's get the van up in the air. Just allows a bit more clearance underneath the van for me to work in. Right. So reverted back to my camera phone. It's going to contrast like buggery, but there you go. So I'm going to undo the slave cylinder for the clutch. I've removed the bolts for the starter motor. So that will come out now. So that's the starter motor. And there's 1, 2 at the top as well. We're on the bell housing for the gearbox bolts. So that will make it, what, 6? Yeah, 6 bolts on the bell housing, including 3 more on the starter motor side. And that, depending on how that's going to come undone, should be able to draw the engine out. I've decided to leave the gearbox in for now. Let's pull that cover off so I can see what's going on in there. It's a bit hard doing it one-handed. No, can't see much in there, so I don't know how that's connected, which is going to be fun. But once I draw the engine out, there is a bit of a clearance there where this would drop onto this cross member here, and if I need to take the gearbox out to put them both in together, it's not going to be a big issue. But I don't think, because of that cross member being there, I'm going to be able to draw out the engine and the gearbox out together. So, well, we'll see. So that's all the bolts from around the bell housing being pulled out. Now the fork that goes onto the thrust bearing of the clutch, that does lock into position, but it'd be easy for me to show you how that is locked into position. Theoretically, that's hanging in space. I have undone 2 nuts either side for the engine mounts, and just here there's a nerve strap, and that's the last thing to be undone on the engine, because that is now free. I can now pull this engine out. I was going to pull the engine and the gearbox out together, but I've decided against that. I'm just going to pull the engine out first. If I need to pull out the gearbox out second, it's not going to be a big issue. Now it's, well, I started at 11:30 this morning. It is now 3:30. But I'm going to have to build the engine hoist first. Engine leveler. So now later, I've ended up building this thing. Probably taking me longer to build this than it will be to take the engine out. So that's the old engine removed. That's it for tonight. It's now come a bit twilight now, so there's not much more I can do tonight. Time. We've just gone at 5. So it's taken me an hour to build the hoist and 4 hours to remove the engine. Now it ain't going to take 4 hours to put it back, I know that. I've still got to do part swapping over and checking over the new engine, so that's another job for tomorrow. Excellent. This rain is definitely not going to stop me doing this engine.